Hello friends, welcome back to my studio. Hope you're well. I have been busy this morning hanging artwork and generally tidying up and getting the studio ready to open for Newstead Open Studios, which is Labor Day weekend, so the 7th through to the 10th of March. And we're open 10 till 4. Do come along if you're local or able to get here. I would absolutely love to see you and share my space with you. It's really special visiting somebody's art space because they tend to be a very sacred, intimate space. It's somewhere where the artist, so for me, I spend a lot of time out here alone. It's very much my little haven, and to be invited into that space is actually very, very special. And I've found most visitors are very respectful of that and do appreciate that. What's lovely about having the studio open as opposed to doing a market stall is, well, particularly for me, my studio is 6 by 6 meters. So I've got a lot of space to spread out and display the work. So I don't have to rely on like I did for the market. And if you haven't seen that, I will link it somewhere above. I had to have things in tubs for people to sort through, and most people I guess are happy to do that, but I noticed that there was a lot of things, particularly the cards that I would have sold a lot of. I sell a lot during the open studios. They really didn't move along, and also the tea towels. So to be able to actually spread out, and I think also it's curated to, it's just my things. So there's a real theme and continuity to it, having it in the one space and just one person. So that's really lovely. I was concerned that I didn't have enough work going because, as you know, regular viewers, you know that I haven't really created as much in the last 6-7 months as I would normally have or would have liked to. But once I got it all out, there's actually a lot of work here, which is fantastic. And there's a lot of new work, which is also really, really good. I think it's important to have something worthwhile to show people if they're going to make the effort to come to visit you. I'm in Newstead proper, but Newstead is a little satellite from Castlemaine, which is the main town. So, you know, it's a little bit of an effort to get here. So I think it's got to be something special when people have made the effort for you. So I'm really happy that there's plenty to see. I think I've got about 70 artworks. Most of them are on paper, a few canvases, and yeah, bits and pieces. I didn't count the cards in that. So yeah, there's lots and lots to see. What's interesting is the works on canvas. I have anything that hangs around the studio too long is in danger, grave danger of me painting over it or adjusting it. And I think it goes along, I think it was Picasso who said, no painting is ever finished, it's just abandoned. And I totally agree with that. There's been artworks I've had the privilege of that have been sold, and I've gone into the collector's home to see them, and I look at it and go, oh, I'd love to put just another little bit of paint on there. And of course, because my skill level has improved since I would have painted those pieces, so it makes sense if you're growing in your art practice, it makes sense that is going to occur. So I have painted, not completely over, but I mentioned that in one of my periods of feeling unwell, I went on an app on my iPad and just played around with how I would adjust some older pieces, and I've gone in and adjusted those. So you might remember some of these paintings. This is how they looked before, Mozzie, and this is what they look like now. They're just minor adjustments really, and again, just the skill level and my not only holding the paintbrush or the type of marks I make, but also the deepening of the color palette that I'm using now. So it felt proper to bring those artworks along with me as to where I am at now. So the way I hang, I've mentioned this before, so sorry if this is a repeat, but the easiest way I've found to hang the artwork is I get these little, they're an old-fashioned way to hang artwork when you've got a picture rail, and this little piece hangs over the picture rail and then your painting hangs on that. And what I do is I put a little hole, you probably can't see it because the wire's there. I drill a little hole in that to accommodate this wire. And this wire is actually just brake cable from a push bike. And you can use clutch cable. It doesn't have to be, it's, you know, brake cable, of course, pulling up a person on a bike is going to be pretty tough going. You can get proper gallery wire, but of course that has a much bigger price tag. Like a lot of things in the art world, the hardware store, the $2 shop, the bike shop, all these places can have similar or same product that you can use, that just because it hasn't got an art or an archival thing listed on it, it's so much cheaper. So that's what I've done, is just the brake cable. And then the gallery piece that I have purchased is these little hooks. This wire, I can't tell you what diameter it is, but it's perfect to go in this little hook. And this little piece here, if you can see, is the locking mechanism. So once the painting is on, it can't move, but if I push that little thing down, I can slide that up and down. And the value of that is when it comes to hanging artwork and you want to have everything hanging nice and level at the top or at the bottom, wherever you've decided you'll hang, unless you're doing a salon hang, and then everything of course is all over the place. But for the eye to be able to come in and see a nice level hanging display, these let you, because of this fine adjustment, it's so easy to adjust. It's really easy to get everything leveled up and square. I will leave a link in the description of where I get these from. I think it was Shakespeare Solutions. I think the other important thing to do is to have everything labelled very well. Having clear prices, I think, really helps the person make an informed decision. I've said this stuff before, that art prices vary dramatically depending on who the artist is. And I've said before, I'd do a vlog on how to price your artwork. It's such an in-depth, detailed, nuanced sort of a thing. It could be a very long vlog, but if you're interested, I will do a vlog on how to price your artwork. But because things vary so much, and I tend to have my prices on the low end, that I do get comments of, oh, your prices are lower from the studio we've just visited and things like that. So I think it's important, because people might really like something and want to buy something, but they'll be perhaps afraid of being embarrassed if they ask and then you say a price that's not in their affordability range. They might feel embarrassed or awkward of, well, how do they get out of that when they've shown interest to that? So, and they may think the price is much higher from what they've seen around on the day or in their experience of other galleries and things like that. So having things really clearly labelled and priced, I think, just really helps your visitors navigate your space. I used to pack every little scrap of paint and painting paraphernalia away and really tried to have the studio looking like a gallery. And I do forget each year just how much work that is, transforming a working space into a display space. And I do think it's important to try and show your work in the best possible light so people can perhaps start to see what the painting or whatever they're looking at, can see that in their own home, in their own space. So I think it's important to display it well, but what I've also realised is people love to see, where do you paint? I've had people very excited about seeing all the paint splodges on the floor of dropped paint. And I think, yeah, that's another way to really help connect them to this working space. And I think that I've learned that that is a good reason why a lot of people will visit open studios, is because they're very interested in seeing a working studio. I did think this year that I would be doing some printing while I was open, but it turns out I've got no space left, no horizontal surface left to actually get any paint out. So I won't be doing any demos. That'll have to all be saved for vlogs on YouTube. So I have got some of my older work, the teacup paintings that I used to do, and I've got 1 or 2 teacup paintings left where I'm debating whether to have them out or not. But I have got the cards printed that I used to. I'll just get some here. So I'm talking about this sort of thing. Get the shine off. So this little one is called Olivia, and yeah, all of these teacups have been sold, but it's nice to have them around, you know. It's such a pleasant experience, and it's such a true gift, and that someone would like your art enough to purchase it and take it home. But as I've also said before, then I lose it from my company. So it's really nice to have a printed version where you can, I can still have these pieces around me. So they're very different, of course, to all of the landscapes that I'm doing and that I've got out. But I still think it's nice to have them. They are very popular, so that's why I have them as well. But even though the vast majority of the work here is landscape paintings, let's see if I get a different one. I think it's still good to have a variety and have those cards out. So as you can see, I've got a big box of them here. I've got another big box because I did a really, really big order last time I ordered them. And when I redid this design, which I spoke about in quite a few vlogs ago now. But what I've decided to do is just have 5 of each. I think if you have, 50 cards, which I think I got 20 or 40 of each version. I got an absolute stack of them anyway, and you can't have 40 cards sitting there. One, you need an incredible display case to do that, but it's also kind of, you want your kind of space, your selling space, to feel full and abundant, but not overproduced, where then doesn't kind of feel like you're getting an original artwork, if that makes sense. So I've just got 5 of each design out on display. And then what I do when there's a bit of a lull and I noticed I've sold cards, I will go out and top those up and try and keep them up to a level of 5 each. I think 5's a good number. 2's not quite enough, because you'll get people in and they'll want to buy the same cards. they'll end up, you know, often friends will have the same taste, right? So they will want to buy the same. So you've got to have enough there that people can, and sometimes they'll buy one for themselves and one for a friend, or, you know, for a gift or whatever. So 5's the number that I've fallen upon that seems to be the right amount to have out. The other thing you can do to help display your workspace as a working studio is to have some sketchbooks out. I tend to not use sketchbooks as a place to put finished pieces. I know there's a big trend about sketchbook tours, and but to me a sketchbook really isn't about a finished piece. A finished piece goes on proper paper or canvas. So, but having said that, sketchbooks can still be very interesting. I have a lot of writing and idea flows and things, so that's perhaps not so interesting, but I have got some sketchbooks out this year to just kind of help show perhaps the process of written idea, sketch, and then the finished piece. I guess what I'm saying is don't be afraid to show the working and the process, a bit like in school in maths where you got points if you showed the working out, even if you got to the wrong answer. So don't be afraid to show your working out bits. The last thing I will add is if there's any work that you want to keep and it's not for sale, but you really want to display it as a demonstration of your work and skill, or you just really want to have it out on show, you have two options. You can, because every canvas and framed print has a label that has the title and date, the medium, that might have a little blurb about a little background story about it, and the price. Oh, and the artist you would normally have, but because it's my studio, it's obvious it's all mine. So instead of writing the price, you can put NFS, not for sale, or simply put a red dot over it so it's sold. So people will know straight away that it's not available. And I'm definitely using that. There's a landscape piece that I will sell eventually, but I need it to hang around because I'm using it as a reference. It's helping me in the direction that I want to take my landscapes, and I really need that piece around, but it's really important to show it. So yeah, that will have a not for sale sticker on it, as well as an older piece. Just because of the way the layout worked, I had a gap. So I've put an old painting, and you will know it from previous vlogs. It symbolizes to me so much growth, and where I really just took a chance and got really rewarded. So it may go up for sale one day, but at the moment it is such an integral, important piece to me that I am still going to hang on to that one. But because it's important to me, I really want to have it on show as well. And as I say, I did have a gap to fill, so it was easy to choose that one. So that will have a NFS, not for sale, sticker on that as well. So I will leave you, for those who can't come along, or perhaps a bit of a teaser for those of you that are coming, I'll leave you with a little walkthrough of the space of what it looks like today. There'll be a few tweaks and things just prior to opening, but here's what it looks like, pretty close to what it'll look like when I open on the 7th of March. I hope you enjoy. I hope you find it really inspiring. I hope you're making beautiful art yourself, getting really stuck in. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a lovely week, and I shall see you next week. Bye.